Hi everyone. So today I wanted to talk about the importance of having something else creative in life other than writing. Quite a strange one this, because I think when I first became a writer full time, I thought that that was my creative outlet and that everything else would have to go or should go. But over the years I've realised that's not true. I think what I found is that um, the creative part of your brain is something that's kind of mysterious but seems to work. For me anyway, it seems to work when I'm not actually at my desk staring at the computer, but when I'm not sort of like with my notepad even, the creative part of my brain is working. And I think one of the ways I've learned to keep that engaged um, is to have another outlet, another creative outlet. So obviously, when I was writing before I go to sleep, my creative outlet really was the writing. I mean, it wasn't a job, it was a hobby, I suppose, although albeit a hobby I was taking very seriously, and trying to turn it into something else. But it was still my primary creative outlet. I was playing guitar, I suppose, but really badly. And that's not just a kind of false modesty, really badly. When I began to start writing Second Life, I went through a period of convincing myself that any time where I wasn't actually at my desk working was time I was wasting and I should really be sort of working harder. But I would be continually hitting a brick wall. So then I sort of realised that actually I needed to flip my thinking from something I did that was relaxing being a reward for having worked into something that I did that was relaxing as a kind of way of resourcing myself so that I was ready for the work. And that really helped. And strangely, one of the things I did was I took up knitting on a whim, really. But there was something about it. First of all, there was something about, I love learning stuff. So there was something about learning how to do it that I found really nourishing. And then actually the kind of repetitive nature of it was really, it really sort of seemed to facilitate the work. I mean, I've got an example here of what I was knitting. It's laughably called a scarf. I mean, it's not even finished. I've kind of got, you know, this is, I think I was doing this during, when I was writing Second Life. So, you know, I've never worn it. It's just really just kind of something I did as a kind of way, I suppose, yeah, of kind of keeping my brain engaged and yet on something that was completely different to what I was working on. And then as I was writing Final Cut, something really interesting happened. Photography has always been a passion of mine, particularly enjoying the work of other people. And I've always aspired to taking photos, but never actually really done it. But during the writing of Final Cut, I started to pick up my camera and just go out and do street photography. I did a course on street photography, which again, something I really enjoyed because it was learning. But I found it incredibly helpful. And I think there's something about the two art forms, the two creative outlets, the writing and the photography, being kind of complementary, almost opposite to each other. They're both kind of narrative arts, I think, but with writing, I'm trying to create images, I suppose, in the reader's head using words, using a story. Whereas with photography, with street photography in particular, which is the type that I do, I'm trying to create a story in the viewer's head using an image. That's just the kind of way I think about it anyway. But there was just, whatever it was, there was something very nourishing about spending a few hours at my desk writing, at the end of which I would get up and move and get my camera and go out there and observe people and take photographs. And so I'd spend 3 or 4 hours doing that. And then at the end of that, there was something about wanting to go back to my desk and write again. And so the two things kind of, as I say, kind of complemented each other. But I do think it's very important, or it certainly is for me anyway, to have a hobby that you are kind of passionate about, but that isn't something that is what you earn money from or what you do for a living, or has anything else attached to it other than the joy you have in doing it. I mean, that was writing for me in the early days, obviously, but then the irony of this, of becoming a successful writer or a writer who is able to make a living from it, is that that aspect of it goes slightly, a little bit, or it's harder to keep alive anyway, perhaps. So yeah, so I hope that's interesting. I think it's probably applies whatever your job is, I think there needs to be something that's not your work that you're passionate about. I've certainly found that helpful anyway. Anyway, good luck. Take care.